Yo, and as our next tower we got here is the good old bomb. Of course we use the bomb in the village as usual, and to showcase how good the bomb shooter is, we can of course see how far the good old bomb shooter actually goes. So let's hope for the best. The bomb shooter goes at least to round 32 at most. We have to see first of all, and here we go. The boom shooter is already on the spot here, down in the corner basically, or in the middle basically, if that makes sense. We're getting ready to get the farms up as soon as possible and try our best to try and beat all the rounds with only one tower, but I decided to make this bomb shooter a little bit more interesting. I used the assassin on round, I think, 32 plus, I think, and a cluster bomb, a bloon impact to at least try and get it ready. So this is basically not a real one tower only challenge, but you can see here I used my first ever best bundles, because I assume it's way better than 2-storm, and I'll say that for sure it's definitely the best one so far. So let's start off with the bomb shooter. The bomb shooter base has a good group damage in group damage, obviously. Group bloons, everything. It has only one layer of damage, however, which is not really good. But yeah, so we are here, we are in the tier 1 upgrade, which is the extra range and the bigger bombs. Let's start off with the extra range. Extra range gives the tower longer attack range. Now, what that means is that it attacks longer, aka the range gets a little bit bigger, and then the can shoot a little bit like at behind. For example, if I buy it, then the tower can actually get to the loop one there basically, and the first loop, if that makes sense. Now of course I'm sorry if I'm saying every single time, but I don't know what to say. It's basically 10 PM. I'm trying my best to make this video as good as contently as possible. The only issue is that the bomb shooter is pretty tough to explain on how I should do that. And then we got the bigger bombs. The bigger bombs basically has a larger blast area and somewhat more of a popping power upgrade, which is basically, first of all, it has a better blast area, which again is pretty good for group damage. Then the second one is the pierce. So I think the pierce from 10 pierce will be probably like 15 pierce at this point. So I don't know how much pierce it actually has from the bomb shooter, but I expect to be having like 8 to 10 pierce, but I have actually no idea. Someone has to correct me in the comment section, but please do so, because again I have no idea. Then we got our tier 2 upgrade, which is pretty decent, which is the frag bombs and the missile launcher. Let's start with the frag bombs, as usual. The explosion that the bomb always shoots is the bomb shooter, of course. The bomb shooter shoots out the cannon or bombs, and the bombs explode on the impact, which means the frags of the bomb, which is basically metal, explode, and the frag bombs basically hits 8 times, one more again, with the frags that it has. Now it sometimes looks like 4, sometimes looks like 6, but it has 8 frags, sharp fragments on the popping power basically. And then we got the missile launcher, which is basically more velocity and range, but also has more damage and faster firing speed, which is definitely good. But it's not really that useful as you may think, only when you play bloons for the first time. Maybe when you got the Moab Mauler activated, you can do that easily. But it is what it is. Now we go to my favorite tier, which is the cluster bomb and the Moab Mauler, aka the tier 3. The tier 3 is actually so much fun, and that's because we got the cluster bomb, which of course throws out secondary bombs instead of frags, which is of course, instead of frags, it's gonna shoot out 8 bomb shooters, like bombs, metal bombs, whatever that is, shoots from 1 bomb into 8 small bombs, and it's pretty decent if I'm being honest. And it does a lot of damage as well, if you put it perfectly fine there. But you also need the bloon impact, which we're gonna talk about soon. Then we got our boy Moab Mauler, which we all love and like, which is of course inflicts 10 times the damage on a Moab class bloon. So if the bomb does like 2 damage against a Moab glass bloon, then of course it does 20 damage. If the bomb shooter does 4 damage, then it does 40 damage. If the bomb shooter does 10 damage, then it does 100 damage. You see this drill? Yeah, I hope you do. And this upgrade specifically is pretty decent, so we should always do that for sure. And then our last tier list, which is of course tier 4, has to be the Bloon Impact, which I exactly set in tier 3. And then the Moab Assassin, which will be talked about now. The Moab Assassin has the ability to shoot out a deadly missile that actually seeks to the nearest Moab, or if you of course have it on strong, then this guy of course targets on the strongest bloon, which might be of course the CMG or the VFB instead of the Moab, and tries to destroy it. So I don't know how much damage it actually does, but I would say probably 750 damage at most, because the BFB has, I think, 1000 HP, but again I might be wrong. I might be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it must be 750 to a 1000, since it's always a 2-shot, but we'll see what the comment section says. And then the Bloon Impact that we all love and like, because once we have it, the bloons get stunned for a brief of a second or 2 seconds. It's basically like a Mortar Store, but only that the Bloon Impact is not an ability, and therefore it's pretty good. Sadly, the only thing that the Bloon Impact can do is of course stun the Moab glass bloon, which kinda sucks. It would be a little bit better if it was like that case, but sadly it isn't. Maybe they should make it the Bloon Impact to stun at least Moabs and BFBs, and the CMG probably never stunned at all, because it'd be a little kinda broken. But Bloon Impact stunning Moab and BFB would be pretty decent and nutty, if I'm being honest. But yeah, there we go, and let's see that our boy Candy Skill here, okay, me, because I'm talking as if I'm the one who's just watching myself here. You can see I'm microing the bomb shooter here with the Moab Assassin, because again, you need, of course, if it's a solo tower, you need to make sure you can micro perfectly. The issue is, if you do not or cannot micro, then this challenge of course isn't for you. And you'll see when I got to the round 40 something with my Spike Factory, then so be it, of course. And then I decided to actually just micro the Moab Assassin down there and try my best to basically beat it. It is definitely not a 1 tower challenge any longer, but if that's gonna be counting, then please do. I'm trying my best not to pop them with the Moab Assassin, the bloons there on the side, but sadly we did a little bit damage, but it's fine, it doesn't really hurt us that much, which is good. The Bloon Impact doesn't really work as much as we wanted to have it, but sadly Bloon Impact isn't good with the group damage when it's alone, which kinda sucks, but we are microing the good old, what's the name? MIB, to increase the attack speed once again. The attack speed is definitely pretty decent to earn, and of course around 32 hits, and we had to boost. Maybe, we'll see. It was like around, how long was it? Probably like a little bit longer there, but it is what it is. Hope you guys still enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys as usual in the next video, because this actually made me like hurting from my mindset, because microing the towers every single day or every single time I use it is actually pretty annoying, but it is what it is. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys as usual in the next video. And as usual, please enjoy this last bit of a second, and basically love you guys, and I'll see you guys there. Peace out.